Tonight, we are formally calling on every municipality in Rock County to adopt an 18-month moratorium on hyperscale data centers and their associated infrastructure. This request was first presented to the town of Beloit on May 31st, and to date, we have not received a formal response. Given the scale and potential impacts these projects will have on our communities, that lack of action is concerning. While this request applies to all municipalities within zoning authority in Rock County, we are specifically asking the town of Beloit, town of Turtle, town of Janesville, and the city of Janesville to place this issue on their next meeting agenda for discussion and action. Our position remains the same and simple. Protections must come before proposals. Before local governments move forward with projects of this magnitude, there must be clear standards governing hyperscale data center development, including data center-specific zoning, siting requirements, environmental safeguards, infrastructure planning, and long-term community protections, along with opportunities for public participation. Too often, residents learn about projects after key discussions have taken place and plans are underway. It's about more than just data centers. It's about whether the people live here have a voice in the decisions that will permanently reshape their communities. Residents deserve the opportunity to understand potential risks, ask questions, and help establish protections before decisions are made. Across Wisconsin, communities are coming together to identify what they value and what they want to protect. Recent Marquette polling found that more than 70% of Wisconsinites believe the benefits of large-scale data center developments do not outweigh the potential costs. So we're asking elected officials at every level to stand with people they represent. Listen to your residents. Put protections in place first. Ensure transparency, accountability, and meaningful public participation before moving forward with projects of this magnitude. The choices we make today will shape our communities for generations to come. We ask our leaders to protect what Wisconsin values and get this right.
Hi, my name is Jenny Hoople. I am a co-lead with Rock County Neighbors for Responsible Development. I am a longtime resident of the city of Beloit. My husband and I own a vegetable farm and small storefront here in the city. Through the storefront, I have been handing out pamphlets and data center signs to Rock County residents from the city of Beloit, town of Rock, town of Turtle, from all over, which has been great. I've gotten to meet a lot of new people. I've had a lot of conversations with community members about this data center development. I have had at least 5 different families tell me that they would 100% move away from Rock County if a data center project goes through. No hesitation in their voice when they said that, just absolutely sure that this is what they would do. As you know, the developers want to build this project just 1 mile from a brand new elementary school and only half a mile from a new housing development that's going in. Who's going to want to move in right next door to a data center? On the one hand, we're trying to bring new families in, and on the other hand, this data center development is going to drive them away. It really is the anti-development development. And I pass it to Yusuf.
Hello and good evening. My name is Yusuf Adama. I'm a resident of Rock County, a co-lead for Rock County Neighbors for Responsible Development, and organizer with the Web at Walnut Way, and I am on the Beloit City Council, although today I'll be speaking for myself. This event and this circumstance really highlights a few key things that we're understanding about the culmination of events that we're at right now. We see over and over again communities are being extracted from, that billion-dollar interests are far eclipsing the needs of communities over and over again, and it's a tragedy. Even though we see overwhelmingly that communities are against these things, we see that this is one of the most nonpartisan issues with almost universal majority against data centers. We're still seeing them pushed. And I would like to believe that the elected officials and the different people that are in support of these things are not doing this out of malice, but because we're in a situation right now where the interests of people and the interests of communities are not often heard or respected. One, because of the different ways that our mechanisms that are supposed to regulate these things are not responsive to the needs of community. We often see events or hearings held at times where most people are at work. If you're 30 and trying to get off at 11 on a Tuesday, you're probably not going to be able to. We also see that the communication between elected officials and the people they're supposed to represent has also been eroded, and we need to strengthen that amount of trust and protection too. Events like this are incredibly important because this is an expression of the frustrations that communities have, that they want to be heard and they want to make sure that their needs are not neglected as more infrastructure is put in place that will indeed harm the community. It's so frustrating that we're not allowed to look at these issues comprehensively, so we need a lot of reform. One, we need moratorium so we can actually have time to wait out and see these things. We need to be able to look at projects and developments in ways that consider other projects that are near them, which is often discouraged. And we need to make sure that the voice of the community and the due diligence to inform the public is actually met and heard. So thank you for coming, and I appreciate the time.
My name is Miley Kaczynski. I'm a Wisconsin educator, property owner, and resident of the town of Trenton, where I live downstream from the Meta Data Center site in Beaver Dam. I'm here today because what happened in my community is not just a Beaver Dam issue. It's a warning for every Wisconsin community being asked to accept large-scale data center development without adequate protections in place. For nearly 50 years, a natural creek has flowed steadily on my property. After construction began upstream, the creek began rapidly to stop flowing, and then suddenly, without rainfall, it would return cloudy and powerful enough to cause significant erosion. Neighboring wells have gone dry. Some residents have had to deepen their wells. My own water testing now requires filtration because of elevated strontium, and it is unsafe to drink. I followed the process, reported concerns, and worked with regulators. I documented conditions. I paid for testing. I kept records and spent hundreds of hours researching and communicating with agencies. More than a year later, I still do not have clear answers. What I discovered is that permits do not equal protection. The public is often told a project is safe because it has permits, but they are not guarantees. They do not necessarily require baseline monitoring on neighboring properties. They do not guarantee independent investigations when concerns arise. They do not guarantee accountability when residents report impact. Instead, the burden falls on the homeowner. If something changes, you're expected to document it. You pay for the testing, you hire the experts, you keep the records, you navigate multiple agencies. And if you believe $1 trillion corporation has caused damage, you're expected to pay for a lawyer to prove it. This is an impossible standard for ordinary families. And that is what concerns me most about the rapid expansion of data centers in Wisconsin. The facility near my home is not even fully operational, and residents are already struggling to get an answer. If there are no clear protections, monitoring requirements, accountability mechanisms, or paths to remediation during construction, what confidence should communities have once these facilities are operating at full scale? This is not an argument against technology, but for accountability. Before communities approve data projects of this size, they deserve independent review, baseline environmental monitoring, transparent reporting, and clear mechanisms for investigating and resolving impact. More importantly, they deserve elected officials who are willing to listen when residents raise concerns. Because once construction begins, it is far more difficult to protect a community than it is to protect it beforehand. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is John Lee. I'm with a group called Save Morgan Valley, and I live in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I'm here to tell a little bit of my story, but piggyback on everything that's going on here. Where I'm from, we're fighting a power plant, and a power plant that's going to serve data centers that Alliant Energy, which we passed a beautiful big power plant right over here on the way in. I'd like to know how many people in this town talk about the pollution that thing puts out. The pollution that they're going to need to build another power plant to power the data centers that they want. Alliant Energy, I guarantee the Alliant Energy officials and upper management here in Wisconsin know my name. They don't like hearing from me in Iowa, and they probably don't want me to talk here. They don't answer questions, the real questions we want answered. They don't understand that we are the people here. Whether I'm standing here or you're standing here, the people here matter a $4.4 billion company with $810 million in profit last year, once they build the power plants, the ratepayers are expected to pay for those. How much is that going to affect the cost of the energy that you guys have to pay for here? Have they talked to you guys about that? Have they talked to you guys about how much energy these data centers are going to use? There's a few other things that I want to talk about. An elected official's customer are the constituents that vote for them. They're not the billion-dollar companies that want to build these data centers and power plants. Elected officials can vote no for the good of the community, and that is what should be looked at in this situation, is the community, the people here. How is it going to affect the people here when they build data centers? How is it going to affect the people here when they build more power plants? Pollution, 1.5 million tons of greenhouse gas is the one power plant, 720 megawatts that they're going to build outside my back door. My kids can walk out our home and walk to the site without crossing a road. Those are the kind of things that Alliant does not want to answer. Where are the human studies for how this is going to affect people that live around data centers? Where are the human studies that for the people that live within a half a mile or a mile of a power plant? And where are they going to get the power for these? This is a total disaster. And the burden should not fall on the people here to notify, to be notified and notify others. The burden should fall on the people that are here to protect us, our elected officials. They're the ones that should be telling everyone. They're the ones who should be standing up for this community when you guys stand up and speak out. Thank you.
My name is Dr. Brittany Keys. I'm a physical therapist and co-leader with Rock County Neighbors for Responsible Development. And I am here to reiterate the urgency and the need of all municipalities in Rock County to urgently adopt a moratorium on hyperscale data centers. Due to the inability of our state regulators to protect us from the size, speed, and type of development and the reckless state-level incentives that have already resulted in billions of dollars in lost tax revenue, Wisconsin has been left with incentives but no protections from data centers. And now it is not fair that this falls all on our municipal leaders, but this is part of the industry playbook. We are also seeing a concerning trend of Wisconsin utilities such as Alliant Energy aggregating land, working with shell companies and municipalities behind closed doors, and recruiting new large energy users such as hyperscale data centers to their service territory. By introducing this ballooning energy demand, they are advancing massive infrastructure buildouts, most concerning being keeping coal online longer and new gas plants. Big tech and these utilities are sacrificing our health, our water, and our climate future for their profits. We need our leaders and decision makers to protect the people and to stand up to these billion-dollar industries. Another chapter in the big tech playbook is limiting public participation. And unfortunately, this is a trend we have started to see in Rock County, where public participation and comments have been limited since the first hyperscale proposal was made public. From limiting comments to actionable items only, shortening them to 2 minutes or 30 seconds, or to 90 seconds, or decreasing the total duration to 30 minutes, our elected officials have limited the opportunity to hear from their constituents, from hearing their concerns, especially the town of Beloit. For these reasons, we are hosting this event tonight to ensure our elected officials hear from the people they represent. They hear from their neighbors. The public cannot be blocked or pushed out of the process any longer. And to end with a reminder to all Wisconsin decision makers, for those that are with us, listening to resident concerns, standing beside us, and ready to protect what we value together, we see you and we appreciate you. We must work together in an urgent manner to slow the process down, to ensure time to develop comprehensive protections. But to the elected officials who are going the way of industry propaganda, the way of big tech and utility profits, we also see you. We also recognize the trends across Wisconsin and the state, reflecting on the historic ballot referendum that passed in Port Washington, recall initiatives, and spring election results. Our elected officials and municipal staff work for us, not big tech. And we look forward to being good neighbors as we protect our air, water, land, and community together. Thank you.
And we need all of our elected officials across the county to make sure that a moratorium is on your next agenda.
All the speakers are available for any questions or answers from the press and or interviews after.